think I started off with the idea Dressed by Morley. For my film, I would do something that would attract preferred reading, as it is an issue that people can understand, and so to speak, they can enjoy the things that they are watching and agree with it completely. I mean, if we look here, this is the idea people would be familiar with Alcohol Anonymous group. Also, I think that the idea of oppositional reading was always going to come into the film at some point, as, this is a topical issue and I could understand where people would want to voice their own opinions. I think as a direct idea of what I wanted, I used the hypodermic syringe theory. I wanted to have an idea and inject it into the audience. If we look at Mac here, he injects the idea that there are a lot of people who have problems with alcohol, yet also at the same time there are ways for people to get on their feet again and make a new start. Also, this does use the idea of gratifications. In terms of this, the audience would try to understand the problems and make themselves more aware of the issues that are in British social realism. For example, on the screen, Mac is looking, very shoulders in very down in the dumps, but he also looks very normal. I think it's important to keep him looking realistic as possible, as it allows the audience to have some feeling of personal identity with him. I think that this product allowed the experiment of quite a few technologies. Obviously, when in the editing process, there was the use of Final Cut, which I had used beforehand in my preliminary. But there were also aspects within the film that helped to further my use of technology. There were transitions, those between colour and black and white, and it helped to understand the different types of lighting and how effective they might appear on screen. Within my film, I also used a voiceover, and it was interesting to experiment with this, as when people record their voice, they often don't like how they sound when they play the back. Also, it was quite interesting to see how the different pitches worked and how that affected the whole piece. I also employed slow motion, which was a late addition to the piece, yet at a moment, such as this one on the screen, adding slow motion helped to slow down the mood and the ideas in the film. It opens up perfectly for a stark and brutal moment. This is it, really. Mac has gone too far, and there is nothing more simple than the human emotion. I think that the preliminary was quite a useful thing, really. As from this, I think there have been quite a few things I've learned.
And I can say it.
First of all, there needs to be a fine attention to detail. The attention to detail, or where blood might be on a person's face in one shot compared to another, is quite important. It can affect the whole piece, and it is important to keep it in mind. The way in which you edit and cut a piece. In my preliminary, the editing was a little loose at points, and I think it's important to keep everything in sync, specifically in a piece like this when you have a voiceover to match what's going on the screen. And the shots in the piece, whether it's a tracking shot or like, on here, a medium close-up, you can keep the emotion in the frame. In my preliminary, there was a lot of shot, reverse shot, action matches, and just dialogue. In the preliminary, I was able to familiarise myself with the basic rudiments of filmmaking, and it became a very useful aspect for my film. I would finally say, and an important point for me, there needs to be a bit less fuss and more focus. I had the tendency to go and talk about what I was going to do, and when it came to the actual production, it would be about 50% there. There needs to be an idea, and once you have the idea and it's solid, you can experiment. You can experiment within that. If you focus, your piece will be fantastic. So thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed the film.